taking a walk in the pouring rain. The air is fresh and clean. The rain is God's air cleaner. It's nice. Had a quick little dinner at my little Mexican joint. You know, you can waste time and money. You can blow all kinds of money, but you can get money back. The one thing, if you squander and waste it, that you can't get back is time. And I've discovered that, and only a gray beard can tell you that. If I had dark hair and I was a young man, like I was at one time, dark hair, buff, tan, had the life, doing well, it wouldn't mean as much. But when you listen to a graybeard talk about time, it means just a little bit more. So listen up. I've blown money and I've blown time. I've lost money, I've made money. Anything that you lose, you can get back when it comes to financial stuff, when it comes to money. One thing you can't get back is time. Ever. Ever. So here's the deal. This is how you make up for lost time, if there is such a thing as that. You leverage your time. You use it well. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you kind of feel like you're going to live forever. When you get older, you start actually calculating. You say, you know what? You start looking at how long the people in your family lived. And you average it out, and you start thinking, well, maybe I'll live to be 80 or 85 or 88. Or I had a great uncle that lived to be 95, or my grandmother lived to be 100, and you start thinking, you know, you're kind of hoping that you have those genes. So how do you compress time? Just like you make like a balsamic reduction, or any kind of like a red wine reduction, you make it more potent. You get rid of the water in it and you kind of cook it down. Those of you who are culinary guys, you know the cooking down thing. How do you pack 5 years into 1 year? How do you get 5 to 10 years of production and results into 1 year? How do you maximize that? You do it through leverage. That is the only way to do it. You can moan and groan all you want, you're not getting your time back. The time that you blew in a relationship with someone who you probably shouldn't have dated in the first place, you ain't getting that back. Pardon my grammar. It ain't coming back to you. Let me just stay here under the tree a little bit here. It's not coming back to you. So what do? You have to leverage things. As I coach people, I'm being coached. I'm in a program where someone is helping me be my best, physically, mentally, financially, shaking me up to get the most out of the last years that I have. And we, you know, you could be 25. I'm getting into the Sultan XB here, hold on. You could be 25 years old and your life can end. Let me hook this rig up, hold on a second here. Hold on while I do this, please. All right. All right. Son of a gun. My rubber band broke. Just when you think I might need to invest in a real system. I put a rubber band on the rear view mirror and then I put the phone in it. And that's what I've been doing for the past year. People say, what rigs do you use? I'm like, you know those rubber bands that are around bananas? I use that. All right, hopefully that's better. So you leverage your time. So I'm starting a coaching program where I'm looking at areas in my life that need to improve. And I need to, I don't like to use there's an overdone phrase called 10xing right now. It's like a big thing in the motivational performance world, 10xing all your performance and results and so forth. But for lack of a better term, 10xing myself. I need to 100x my life. So you do that through leveraging of time, and that means planning your time and not being an obsessive pen and paper freak. Okay? Time blocking and all that stuff. That works out great for a lot of people. It never worked for me. How do you 10x your money? How do you leverage your money? How do you leverage your time? That's what I'm working on in my coaching program. In another 2 weeks, I'm starting a 10-week program myself where I'm challenging myself health-wise, mentally, spiritually, inside. As a Christian man, I can't make up for lost, stupid, wasted years, but I certainly want to spend the rest of my years pleasing God. I may or may not get married. I don't know right now. I'm a total MGTOW guy, if you know what I'm talking about, going my own way. And usually that stems from having a rough divorce. Like I tell people, I had a nice marriage, but a bad divorce. And I never want to go there again. And nobody ever gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced. I certainly didn't. I have 3 children. I have 2 aging parents. I need to leverage my time properly. Although, if the Lord says, okay, time's up, my heart could stop tonight. I could close my eyes, my head hits the pillow, and never wake up. That's always that's a possibility at any age. It's more of a possibility if you don't take care of yourself. It's more of a possibility if you do dumb things with your life and put yourself in situations that are just stupid, not smart. But leveraging time is probably the single most important thing that you can do to unwaste wasted years. We talked about that. I did a video on how to unwaste your time, and that's how to learn from the years that you wasted. Don't keep going into the same places and meeting the same kind of people. You'll get the same kind of results. There's people who have been going to gyms for years. It's now a lifestyle now, right? When I was growing up, there was no such thing as going to the gym. Now, everybody belongs to a gym. I go in and I see all of the hamsters on the treadmills. And one day it occurred to me, I see the same people on the same damn treadmills day after day after day, and they're not getting any thinner because nothing else is changing. I don't see a lot of real results happening. Everybody belongs to a gym. Gyms are through EFT, electronic funds transfer, are taking anywhere from $10 to $20 to $50 to $60 to $120 a month out of your checking, banking accounts. It just happens. But is your health going up in the same way that your bank account is going down? For most people, that is a no. As soon as you get over the fact that a gym is not a social place and that you're there to work and get something done and achieve something, then you start taking it a little bit more seriously. As soon as you realize that your time is important, you stop going to loser places and hanging out with losers. And I'm not making a value judgment on anyone. I want to hang out with people whose comfort zones are huge, not this big. Okay? I never want to be the smartest guy in a room. I want to be the dumbest guy. I don't want to hang out with wannabes. I want to hang out with people who are just, you know how like a trolley is going on the tracks, and you kind of you have to like run and speed up a little bit to catch the handle and jump on it. That's what I want to do. That's what I want you to do. I want you to jump on something that is going somewhere. And you need to be with people that are going places. Now, if you're hanging out with a bunch of friends that are just happy, and that's fine, that's cool. I watched a movie years ago with Steve Buscemi called The Trees Lounge. Everybody would go to a bar. One guy died. They left his bar stool empty and put, a little memorial there. But the next day, it was the same old stuff all over again. Guess what? You don't want your memory to be an empty bar stool for a day with a little sign that says, "This bar stool is dedicated to John or Jane," or whatever your name is. You don't want that. You don't want to leave children wondering what the hell happened to their mom or dad. You never want that. You never want to leave a legacy as a hellraiser or a troublemaker or a time waster or a money waster. Leveraging your time is important. So I'm spending the next 10 weeks as I help people in my coaching. Take my word for it. If who you are getting your help from and coaching and encouragement is not in a formalized coaching or improvement program themselves, you just might be wasting your time and your money. It's all about bang for your buck, but even more about bang for your time. I've been preaching for years now about a topic that I call this time next year. Where will you be this time next year? So I'm starting my advanced coaching program real soon, which I'm so looking forward to changes, and I'll share some of those things. And it's not some spiritual thing. I'm not sitting on a mountaintop in lotus position and breathing in and listening to the universe. If that's your thing, that's fine. I'm not being judgmental. I'm talking about results and goals and reaching your goals and being in a different place comfortably this time next year. That's what I'm doing. Now, do you want that? Do you want to leave the world of retail? I keep thinking, people used to say to me, niche and grow rich. Specialize. If you're just out there trying to do everything with everybody, you're going to fail. You need to specialize. When I was in the therapy world, you all know that I have a master's degree in education with a concentration in counseling, and I used to do therapy full time. I mean, I was a therapist. That's what I did for close to 2 decades. I have the credentials and the job history to prove it. And then I would even do it 2 to 3 nights a week, where I would see clients, what they call fee for service, which means that people pay me, and it was usually through a copay through their insurance, and it was like $40 or something like that. And I think, it was ridiculous. It was something like I would get 20 out of the $40, and the agency I worked for would get 20. So I would see anywhere between 3 and 5 clients 2 to 3 nights a week, and my pay was $20 a pop for each one of them, helping them get through things, and et cetera, et cetera. A lot of psychobabble. And the director of social services and the medical director would say, we have a person with who's depressed. They got a history of eating disorders and some sexual abuse and so forth. Would you be able to see them for about 10 weeks or however long you deem necessary? I'd say, no, I don't treat people with eating disorders, and I don't treat people with sexual abuse histories. That's one of the things I just don't understand it. I don't have a grip on it. But I'll never forget there were therapists that do everything from depression, anxiety, eating disorders, sexual abuse. I mean, you name it. They treat everything, and they don't do anything well. And I was the guy who was action-oriented. I did not pretend that I did everything well. And in the same way, now in my life, I am not a billionaire. So how can I coach anyone to be a billionaire? I did not have a successful marriage. So I'm not doing marriage counseling. That's not going to happen. I am good at recovering from having a bad marriage and digging myself out of a hole and out of a rut and getting unstuck. I can help somebody with that. So you're not coming to me for marriage enrichment. That's not going to happen because I'm being real with you on that. If you want to come to me, if you want to talk to me, if you want traction sessions with me, it's going to be about getting unstuck. It's going to be about, we're going to be focusing on this time next year. And my initial offering is 5 traction sessions, and then we mutually decide how much time is in between each session, if we want to spread that out over a year or do it in 10 weeks or 5 weeks. So that's where I'm going with that. If you want to be in a different place next year, first of all, do not believe anyone who can change your life in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months. Ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. They're taking your money and they're being unrealistic because our behavior patterns are pretty ingrained in us. You can't undo something that's taken decades to. It's like cement. And clay, there's a certain window of time that you can mold clay, and then after a while it gets hard and it can't be molded anymore. Same thing with cement. And I think it takes a little bit of time to change behaviors if those behaviors are so-called set in stone and those mindsets. And I'm not getting spiritual with anyone, so I can work with anyone from any background whatsoever. And that's my commitment to you. So however you want to space those 5 sessions out, and they're powerful, it's about leverage. It's about you following through. It's about me keeping you accountable. I'm accountable to a mentor. Someone who's changing my life and helping me go somewhere where I never thought I could go. Mentally, physically, financially. There's always room for improvement. But I'm also a teacher and a coach myself. And of course, proficient and well-known in the hair and beauty world as well, which is how most people know me. So what I'm doing is I'm specializing in, number 1, people who are in the hair and beauty industry, and number 2, people who are in retail, people who work in malls, people who feel stuck and they can't get out. It's got nothing to do with your college education or lack of college education. I don't care if you're a high school dropout. I don't care what your family was like. We don't focus on the past. We only focus on the future. Do you want to do that? Email me, gb@georgebruno.com, and let's talk about it. I'll give you a free 15-minute session, complimentary session for 15 minutes, and we'll see if this coaching is for you. Do you want to change your life? How bad do you want to change? Are you able to make those changes? I'm not wasting my time, and I'm not wasting your time. You can do it. I know you can. I used to say, remember me saying, you can do it, I know you can, because I believe in you. Now go out and do it. And then I'd fist bump the phone. You've seen me do that hundreds of times. But this is what I want to say to you right now. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want the change? Because this time next year, you can be in a completely different place in your life if you take this seriously. Are you ready? I only want to work with people who are ready. gb@georgebruno.com. Email me. Tell me a brief story. Tell me you want to talk. And I'm going to be arranging phone calls during the first week of June. I'll be getting with you. And we'll talk about it. I'll see you soon. Leverage that time.